I'm always someone who's loved music, and I don't just mean listen to. From a very young age, I was collecting CDs, downloading MP3s off the internet, perfectly legally of course, burning my own CDs, writing my own music, and then later, getting into vinyl, going to see shows, getting into scenes such as DIY emo back in the early 2010s when I discovered the front bottoms. And still, to this day, music is genuinely a huge part of my life. But the other day, as I was listening to something, probably Pigeon Pit because I've been on a huge folk punk kick recently, that got me thinking back to the first portable music player that I owned. And that device was the ever iconic iPod Nano. It was a garish green color and it was literally outdated when I got it. Not to mention the fact that iPhone has basically killed off iPods in recent years, so I thought that barely anyone used them. Until my friend James got one. Turns out there's actually a huge group of people who still use these. So without further ado, let's introduce the star of today's video. This is the second generation iPod Nano in this lovely lime green color. Originally released in 2006 with my particular model having 4GB of internal storage, the oh so classic iPod scrolling wheel, and of course, no wireless headphones here. We have the traditional 3.5mm audio jack. And this will be our base for the week. Nothing more, nothing less, other than a pair of headphones. Yes, the same iPod I was loading my copy of Alvin and the Chipmunks onto when I was 8 would now be my primary music player for the next week. Would I manage, or would I get intensely annoyed? Well, let's get a day one to find out. So it seems to be connecting. Honestly, I'm very surprised that this still works. This has literally been like my family's iPod since I was like 8 years old, I think. I think my Alvin and the Chipmunks album is still on here. Also, epic BubVisuals hair update. I bleached the absolute shit out of my hair again, so it's back to my signature blonde color. Yeah. How's that going? And I got a wolf cut, which I think look good on everybody, except when they're not styled, which is why I have made a return of the signature loser hat. Let's go! Tell me why I haven't used this in like 10 years. Yeah. And it's up to date. Also, turns out it's second generation. I thought it was a first gen because it doesn't have the colored buttons. Okay, so I guess we're gonna sync the music then. Yeah, we want all of this. We want Brave Bird, we want Panucci's Pizza, we want Car Seat Headrest. Well, the front bottoms, hell yeah. I originally wanted to do this video with like my original like MP3 player from back when I was like 13, 14, 15. That still has all of the music that I have regrown to love on it again. So it was full of like really old front bottoms demos, which are now like easily you're able to find now. But like back in the day, oh my god, we had to go through so much to find like secret hidden music. This was back at like the peak of like emo revival in Philly. And so I had like so much great music on there, as well as like Blurry Face by 21 Pilots. I used that thing for like years. Huh? Oh, I need to... is technology getting better, making us more dumber? Yeah, I want to remove fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks, please. No one needs to know about that. You know, apart from like everyone who sees this video, it'll be our secret. It'll be the BubVisuals secret. I was pleasantly surprised to see how easy it was to set up this device. Apple Music still works to sync your local files with your iPod with minimal issues, and the process really hasn't changed that much ever since I synced my library all those years ago. I was also pleasantly surprised to learn how much music 4GB will actually get you. I was able to store plenty of music on here. I actually thought it would be full very quickly, but after putting all of the music I wanted on here, I still actually had a decent amount of space left, which was a really nice surprise. I ended the day very excited for the week to come. Objectively, the most excited I've ever been to start one of these little week-long projects. I wasn't really expecting too many downsides, and the novelty was still very fresh in my mind. On day 2 was where I hit my first hurdle. While waiting in the hospital, I really wanted to listen to a specific album. If I was on my phone with my AirPods, I would simply search that album up, and provided that I had signal, I would listen to it right there and then. Here, I actually had to make a note on my phone to remind myself that when I got home, I needed to download this album to my local files and transfer it across. Not too bad, but a minor inconvenience overall. And with that, the rest of the day went on pretty smoothly. On day 2, I woke up thinking, oh my goodness, oh no, I forgot that injection that I need. So with that, I grabbed the injection from the side and hightailed it to the nearest hospital. But not before grabbing our lime green hero and my very cheap wireless headphones. Okay, so I'm currently in a hospital going to get an injection. and I've got the iPod here. So far it's going great. Battery life's fine. I'm currently in a toilet. Gotta say, so far, the only thing I really miss is wireless earbuds, because, gonna be real, the wires have got caught several times and I forgot how inconvenient they can be because they fly out of your ears so quickly compared to like headphones. So yeah, that's the only downside I've noticed so far. I was going on a trip the next day, so I was doing a lot of packing the night before. Of course, remembering to grab the big, stupid, famously reliable connector, along with an extra, slightly better quality pair of headphones, because I knew I was going to have some downtime on this trip and wanted to listen to some music in good quality. But overall, my experience up to this point had actually been relatively positive. Battery life was excellent, compatibility really wasn't an issue because it's just a standard 3.5mm headphone jack, with enough power to drive normal consumer grade headphones in actually quite decent quality when using quality headphones. So on day 2, I went to bed happy. Day 3, as I said, I was going on a pretty long road trip. Unfortunately, I did lose most of my footage, including almost all of the vlog footage I shot over the next few days. To summarize, I got an album, I did lots of hiking, and I had a pretty great time. As for the iPod, the battery life lasted really well on the trip, and while I did find myself fiddling with the device probably more than I would have with my phone, I did find myself getting used to its quirks at this point. The scroll wheel navigation, the slightly broken hold button that you have to push down to get it to work, and of course, using wired earphones again. Seriously, if you've been using wireless earphones, specifically earphones, for any length of time, headphones are a little bit different, but with earphones, seriously, go back and find a pair of wired earphones, probably buried deep in a drawer and tangled to all fun, and try to use them while walking around without going crazy. I forgot how often they would just like pop out of my ears, or how I'd have to like root them down my shirt so they wouldn't get caught on random door handles. They'd be like swinging in the breeze as you're walking along a bridge. It was wired earphones. I'm glad you're dead. In situations that don't require low latency, I've been using wireless headphones since 2016 and wireless earphones since 2022. And after switching, especially with earphones, I've never really looked back. By the way, if you're thinking 2022, that's kind of recent. I basically didn't use earphones at all since 2016. As soon as I switched to wireless headphones, I was like, this is so damn convenient, I'm just gonna use these for the majority of my music listening. I was okay with looking like a bit of a geesh on public transport and in class with my wireless headphones. Day 4 and 5, I was traveling. I did get some music in using my bigger headphones that, fun fact, I got for a £5 at a game in Stoke with my friends. Overall, no complaints here either, especially on these bigger over-ear headphones. Music sounded great, and while the iPod likely won't power your super high-end open backs, for standard consumer level headphones, I've had no problems. On day 6, I was traveling home, again, lots of music here, so I made sure to charge it the night before, and it lasted me the entire journey home. At this point, I was pretty used to my iPod. While I wasn't discovering lots of new music as I might have been when using a streaming service, I was discovering deeper cuts on albums that I liked, but didn't necessarily take in-depth listens into, and I came away with some new favorites. I did also recently travel back to the city where I've been living for the last year, and while I was there, I caught up with my friend Liam, who is a connoisseur of electronic crap. He'll go to a car boot sale every single Saturday morning without fail. I know, because we used to like meet up and socialize on Friday, have a couple of drinks, watch some terrible movies as you do, and he would always show us the barrage of crap that he'd bought the week before. Shockingly, this week, it was 2 iPod classics. He didn't actually know that I was doing this video, and he said, "Hey Lou, want an iPod?" All right, so which generation is this?
4th.
This one?
Yeah.
No, really? Damn. So tell me about your working one.
So the hard drive is crap.
What did you put on it so I could play FLAC files?
Rockbox.
Rockbox.
Rockbox, yeah. Open source firmware.
How much did you get it for from the car boot?
$5 each. So actually not bad.
What gigabytes is that?
60.
Damn. That's good.
It is actually.
Mine's 4. We're gonna play some Doom on this iPod. If it has a screen, Doom will be seen. That looks so playable with the scroll wheel. So this, we got it working. Well, you got it working.
Yippee!
Sing us something non-copyrighted, Cameron.
It has like 10 gigs remaining.
I think we're real. I think that's
Oh, yeah, we came across something good, didn't we?
It's the song.
This is going on my YouTube video.
It's the song.
It's the song. Overall, I finished the week with surprising ease. Honestly, the thing I missed most about my traditional streaming setup was my AirPods. As I said, when using earphones, specifically wired earphones, I did have a couple of issues with the wires as I am famously uncoordinated, so they'd often get snagged. But that was really the main issue that I faced. The 2006 second generation lime green iPod that I spent the week with provided me with nice audio quality, surprisingly great battery life, and also a fashion accessory. This is actually something that I've personally noticed quite a lot, especially on TikTok. With 2000s nostalgia starting to take hold, people are starting to use point and shoot cameras, MySpace clones where Affliction and Miss Me. God, I do not miss that era of fashion personally. If you can pull it off, hell yeah. Not for me personally. Personally, I'll stick to dressing like I'm in 2016 Philly. That's just me, I guess. And of course, above all else, listen on iPods and CDs. Obviously, this is a trend, but as somebody who did the first bit of growing up in the 2000s, honestly, it's kind of nice. Where did it go? Where's my fucking iPod? Using this iPod again has reminded me how fragmented and, well, awkward technology used to be. Playlists are basically unmanageable on this device, with the exception of the on-the-go playlist, which I have never used ever in my life. To be fair, I'm more of an album listener anyway. I'm not particularly fussed about that, but if you are somebody who loves to mass curate and so it's like perfect, you got the perfect playlist for every occasion, using an iPod will probably wind you up. Not gonna lie. Then again, if you are using an iPod in 2025, you probably don't care that much about convenience. Another major thing is you really do have to know where your music is. The search function is a little bit inconvenient. And this makes you think more intentionally about music. In fact, something that I noticed while I was using this iPod was that because I couldn't just search for a song I want to listen to and stream it, if I don't have the song on here that I want to listen to, I've got to remember it or write it down and make a note to put it on my iPod when I get home. There is also, as lame as this sounds, something to be said about the fashion side of using this iPod. I personally felt so cool and trendy pulling this iPod out, probably as cool and trendy as its original owner felt in 2006. Honestly, I feel like I'm living my Juno fantasy. Well, stylistically at least, not the getting pregnant by Michael Cera. Juno. This is why I kind of stuck at it and why it's remained in my bag ever since I stopped doing this challenge. It's fun and it's different. And the reason that I did this for a week in the first place was to see if that novelty would wear off. And honestly, for me, it didn't. That said, I am a very specific type of person. I am currently wearing a car seat headrest hat. I have a Martha vinyl right next to me. Basically what I'm saying is I am an annoying indie head. Like 1 second, I'm a very specific type of listener. One mo, I'm gonna go grab a handful of vinyls to prove a point. Oh yes, you're coming with me. Okay, here we go. Blisters in the Pit of My Heart by Martha. This is one of my favorites. Newgrounds Death Rugby, Pictures of Your Pets. This was shipped to me from the bassist's house and it was a Christmas gift from my friend. Thank you, Brad. It's a classic. I think they actually give this to you for free with every purchase of a record player. If you don't have this, Jeff Mangum will track you down and shoot you with a gun. Paraflies by Algernon Cavallada. I bought this from the drummer of this band. I also spoke to the guitarist about amps. That was a really fun gig. And of course, the Gay Dog album, Twin Fantasy. I love this album. 14-year-old me loved this album. 24-year-old me loved this album. This album has been like a constant in my life for the past 10 or so years, longer actually, 11 years. Not this version, this is the 2018 version. The original and a lot of the early car seat headrest music was definitely a soundtrack to a lot of my teenage misery. So, thank you, Will Toledo. Sorry for drunk tweeting you that one time. It was funny. It was a funny tweet. Needless to say, I am a very specific type of music enjoyer. Oh, one more. Literally on my amp behind me. This wasn't planned. I have a CD of Lush by Snail Mail. I listened to the hell out of this album. Oh my god, this is such a good album. Listen to it. Listen to all of these albums, they're good. If you are not like me, in the fact that if you saw how excited I just got, that's how I get when I talk about music. I absolutely love music. And if you are not like that, and you're just coming from Spotify or Apple Music, this is likely to drive you just a little bit mad. I think for the near future, this iPod will remain in my going out bag. This experiment was a lot of fun, and as I said, surprisingly easy. And if this sounds like a fun time to you as well, maybe it's time to rifle through those drawers and dig up your childhood iPod. Okay, so a quick note, I wasn't expecting this to be my first video back. I already had like a, hey, I'm back, like joke intro for my next video, but surprise! I will be explaining in the next video why I was gone for so long, but it is so incredibly good to be back. I've missed you all so much. As for now though, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like the video if you've enjoyed it. If you really enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later if you don't want to watch my videos. That's it for this week and I will see you all very soon.